Here's one more bass I can't live without, a Fodera 5-string Emperor Fretless Bolt-on. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing my long ass stories anyway, but to be honest, this instrument really doesn't come with one other than the fact that I hadn't owned a fretless since 2019 and I really missed playing with that sound. If this is the first video about basses that you're watching of mine, please check out this link. Hopefully I'm pointing to the right place because it didn't on the last one, so you can find out about how I kind of got into playing Fodera basses. Also, if you're interested in more info on my Foderas, I have 2 other videos on my channel about my Monarch P Standard Classic and my custom Emperor 5-string, which is fretted. So this bass was finished in October of 2023. With this bass, I considered everything that I had learned from those 2 builds and kind of incorporated into my idea for this one. As well, I bounced a whole bunch of ideas off of Dan Balcom, who did most of the work on this bass if I'm not mistaken. So let's take a look at the specs for this one. A golden Amboyna top and a roasted butternut body. The Amboyna top idea came from actually a piano that I had seen when I was a little kid that was just so gorgeous, and the whole piano had a veneer of Amboyna on it, and I never forgot that. The roasted butternut body I think was actually a last minute change for me based on a video that I saw of a custom Monarch P bass that they did with a roasted butternut body. It sounded amazing, and immediately I shifted from alder, which was my first choice, to the roasted butternut. I'll make sure I link that video above so that you can go check that out too. During the process of making this one, I had asked for a lightweight bass. I had considered asking them to chamber this bass, but wasn't fully convinced of this idea. The thing I was concerned about was pairing the chambering with the roasted woods that I had chosen for this bass, which I did body and neck. When you're roasting those woods, it takes a little bit of the water weight out, and sure enough, when they started putting the bass together, we had to make some considerations about the weight and balance too. One of those was putting lightweight tuners on the peg head. On this, as usual, I did a 3-piece maple neck, although this one was roasted. I did a standard ebony fretboard on this one, although I had fret markers put on the side of the fretboard instead of doing a fully lined fretless. So if you watched any of my previous bass videos, I told you that on the other 2 builds that I would have roasted the neck had I done the build differently. On this one I did, and tonally and feel and everything, this came out wonderful. It was everything I was looking for. The bolt-on idea for this came from Joey. I had actually initially wanted to do an elite neck through model, but Joey told me that if I did that, I would lose the snappiness in the neck. It would really affect the fretless sound. Having played a bunch of Foderas now, he's obviously 100% correct. He knows these basses better than anybody does. Ebony on the fretboard for this felt like a really natural choice. For the inlays on the side of the fretboard, I bounced this idea off of Pat. Pat's a fantastic dude, really incredibly nice guy, and during the process of getting this build done, he actually built a fretless for himself that I think is one of the most beautiful Fodera fretlesses to come out of that shop. He also does some really fantastic work with inlays, and I've really enjoyed his artistry. On this one, we also tried to do a back of peg head veneer as well, just like my fretted Fodera, but unfortunately they ran out of the top wood that we were using in order to do this. We just didn't have enough to do it with. This bass got black hardware in an ebony ramp, similar to my other Emperor, and I decided to go with non-exposed poles and black pickup covers over the Fodera Duncan Dual Coils. I just wanted a clean look for that area of the bass. Just like my other Foderas, this one is a 34-inch scale, and similar to my other Emperor fretted, this one has 17.5mm spacing. This bass was also set up with light gauge strings and low action, and I've always kept it that way. For the electronic side, this one has the newest version of the Fodera custom preamp with a 3-band EQ. Again, the pickups are Fodera Duncan Dual Coils with non-exposed poles placed in the 70s position, all black. I'd really love to send you to the newborn page on Fodera's website for this, although at the time that this bass was completed, I don't think that Fodera was doing the gallery. Now here's some unique things that we did with this bass on the construction. This is my first bass with both a roasted body and a roasted neck. Absolutely wonderful instrument, and to be honest, the best playing of the 3 that I have, although the others excel in their own ways. The Amboyna Burl is a gorgeous wood, and I was dying to do a butterfly for the headstock that complemented it well and stood out just a little bit. At the time, Dan was experimenting with some really cool butterfly options, my favorite of which was the one that he ended up doing for his own bass. In order to get this butterfly to pop, he recommended that this butterfly be holly with an abalone F. To me, this was a perfect build. I feel like together working with the guys in the shop that we got everything perfect the first time around on this, and I'm always really thankful for all of the effort from everyone that has been involved with these builds. They've all steered me in really great directions in choosing how to build an instrument that suited me best. By the way, for this bass, Dan was able to measure the very interesting cuts that we had made on the neck on my fretted Emperor, and we transferred them to this one. So it's the same weird cut that I did before on that bass, which is the standard cut from frets 1 to 5 or so, thin and fast up towards 12 and on, and then in between all that, it's a bit of a blend. So I hope you've enjoyed this overview. You know, we've gotten to look at my 3 most favorite basses that I have, and hopefully those of you, especially that are researching your coming build or just are starting to learn about Fodera instruments, get some cool knowledge. Please take a moment and check out their website, www.fodera.com. And hopefully I'll get to see you here on my YouTube channel as we talk through some more gear and instruments that I love the most. As always, if you can help me out, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And here's a little bit more playing.